Okay, so I want to make a video on choppy markets because I thought it was very fitting, considering the period we've been in. And just now, like the indexes have started correcting, and things have gotten easier. There's nothing to do. There's no trades to be taken. You have your risk off signal with that 10 and 20. But if you're a newer trader and you haven't been through a choppy market, what we've been going through the past month or so, they can truly be devastating. I experienced my first choppy market in the end of December 2024, early this year, early 2025, and I got shredded up. I got torn up. I didn't realize, like, like you hear Mark Minervini talk about progressive exposure. You see Ariel talk about progressive exposure, but you don't know that you need to use progressive exposure until it like happens to you, right? Because the thing is like in these choppy markets is you'll have that 10 and 20 rising, so your risk off signal isn't turned on, but setups aren't working. It's like if you buy breakouts, you're just going to get slammed. And if you do that with 1% over and over again over 20 trades, that's a 20% drawdown. That's brutal. Truly, that's brutal because now you need a 25% gain just to get break even. You're running up a hill now instead of being flat or down a hill. And that's where progressive exposure comes in. That's like the biggest lesson I've learned this year. Portfolio traction, like that's what matters the most. If your last four trades are not working, you have to size down. Like it's like for your own good. And the hard part about it is that you size down and then sometimes you'll catch a stock, like you'll catch the one winner, right? Like for instance, in this I caught Lumen in this choppy market, and Lumen worked great, but it was the only working stock. So it's like, who cares if I caught one winner? If I keep trading that same size, I'm going to give back all the games. And that's what I did. That's what I did earlier this year. I had a $14,000 trade on Okla. I mean, I absolutely killed this stock on this move, sold it right here, bought it back down here, rid it all the way up, closed it right here. I mean, I killed this trade. It was over a $14,000 trade, still my all-time biggest P&L for a ticker. And it didn't matter. I gave back all 14,000 of that trade. Over 1% losses. Just cut. Because I didn't realize I needed to size down. So like you can get those anomaly stocks, like those one stocks that work in that kind of a market. But if you keep trading that same size, you are going to get shredded to pieces. I mean, it just doesn't matter. You're going to give it all back. And that's why like your recent portfolio feedback, it just matters so much. If you have lost the last four trades, you cut that risk in half. You're risking 1%, go down to 0.5%. And then you go down to 0.25%. And then by there you're down 6% on your portfolio, 6% on your realized gain portfolio. But like 6% compared to 20% or 25%, it's sometimes worse. They can get up to 30%. It's like it's a world of difference. And controlling your drawdown it's that important because you don't want to be fighting an uphill battle. Once you start getting down past 10-15%, it gets really brutal and mentally fatiguing to try and size back up to recover that drawdown. And it's just so important. I saw a quote from somebody wrote on Twitter, like a quote from Koala Maggie, and I never saw it before, but he's like, the choppy markets, you have to identify those quick and size down. Like literally sizing down is the only way you are going to survive those markets. And in 2024, it was really bad because 2024 barely had any choppy periods. The only sort of choppy period was end of March to April, and it was like it happened so fast. Like January to February was a cruise, right? May to what, Joe? I mean, May to the rest of the year was like pretty good because in August when we had that correction, it was just like straight down. Like there was no chop. It was just a straight down and then bounce right back. It was a V shape. decline and then V-shaped recovery. And so that it wasn't choppy at all, that correction, which made 2024 exceptionally an easy market. And I didn't know it at the time, but the reason is because there was like no chop in it. So I literally risked 1% of my portfolio the entire year. Like, just straight for a year, I just risked 1%. If I had been doing that the last month, I'd be getting torn up. I'd be down 20, 30%. And again, luckily, like, I realized I needed to incorporate progressive exposure and incorporate, hey, if your trades aren't working, you don't have to risk 1%. You don't have to go in with like stupid size. You can get in the market, right? The thing is like you think you're going to be late to a rally. You're not. Like there's going to be more setups. You're going to have time to get in. It's like, it's so stupid to think you need to like be trading full size, or you need to be like, you need to catch the day that the rally starts. You don't. I think Minervini has a quote, and it's like, I want to make sure there is a party. Like, why would you don't want to show up to a party, or you don't want to be invited to a party, right? And then show up and no one's there, right? You want to at least make sure there is a party happening. It's being late to the party is better than showing up and there being no party at all. Imagine how much time, much more time you just wasted. And like that concept is huge. But it's such an advanced concept though. Like you just don't understand it until you go through these cycles and just realize how important it is. And I just can't stress that enough. So like I wish a year ago somebody would have recorded a video and explained this. Or really, like I knew about the concept. In 2024 I knew about the concept. I thought it was dumb just because the market was that good. And I didn't realize I needed to use that concept until later down the line, which is fine. But yeah, it's just so important to like base your sizing, base your percent account risk off of your recent portfolio feedback, not off of a 10 and 20. Like, and even Koala Maggie has said in like other videos, he's like, sometimes the 10 20 is down and I'm trading because momentum, it works, and then the 10-20 follows, right? And I've experienced that too. If you wait for the 10 and 20 to flip, you're going to be late. But if you take like smaller positions, maybe you risk a 4% of your account, you get 2 winners, you size up to 0.5%, you get 2 winners, and then before you know it, you're trading full size, and like the 10 and 20 are like haven't even crossed yet. Like you can scale up so much faster and get aggressive way quicker. And not to mention, if you get tight stops, you can still get really good size on 0.5% risk. You get a 1% stop on a 0.5% risk, and you can get a 50% position. And then on a 2% stop, obviously a little bit wider, but you can get a 25% position. That's still a full position for most people. And like really, you don't need more than a 10% position. Like you can grow a trading account with a 10% position size. Like a flat 10% position size. Like if you just put in 10% of your account per trade every trade, like you can grow a trading account that way. And so it's such a fallacy to like think you need to be trading size at all times, or you need to have a flat I risk 1% per trade. No, you don't. You can't. There's too much variance. Like we have a 30% win rate. You're gonna go on large losing streaks. You're gonna go on 10 plus losing streaks. I think my longest losing streak was like 15 trades. You lose 15 and like think about that. Think about how much you could avoid drawdown if you just size down, because losses, they happen consecutively, right? 15 trades in a row. After the 4, you've cut the risk in half. So instead of losing 15, you lose 4%, and then the other 11 trades you lose 0.5%. Now you're only down like 9%, right? Or 8% instead of 15%. It's huge. It's a big difference. And then again, even further, you do 4%, 1%, or 4 trades 1%, 4 trades 0.5%, 4 trades 1/4%. Again, now you're down to you're down 6% instead of 15%. Huge difference. Makes a world of difference. And it's like huge for your confidence too. So I think that concept is still important. I think, um, yeah, it's just such an important concept, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. I'm trying to think, like, is there anything else that's like really important to like talk about, like a good concept? I don't know. That, and you want to focus on the most linear stocks, like these momentum names right here. This BW looks pretty good. It triggered, but again today I'm not trading because well, the 10's under the 20. Like, how many people thought this was the bottom, right? You get an oops up candle, you reclaim the 50, big volume. How many people thought it was the bottom just to get washed out? And then people just keep getting sucked back in. When that 10 crosses the 20, you're just better off, like, not trading at all. Like, there's no point in trying to, like, guess the bottom. It's so stupid. You're going to get 8 up. Like, imagine thinking this is the bottom right here. You get an oops up. Oh, more momentum. Gap down, but guess what? Reclaim. So you start getting long, and then you get gap down 5%, bro. Holy crap. And then you get, like, it's just so stupid. Don't even bother trying to time the bottom. Like, there were setups today at AXTI. AXTI didn't even trigger. BW is the only thing that really triggered. And it hasn't made a good move. And up until now, was the only green name in my more sideways list. But now, more names are turning green. But like, if you just focus on these linear momentum names, your success rate is just going to be so much greater, and you're going to have so much more nuance. So where like you're not picking every stock under the bus. Like, you just want to focus on these linear momentum names. It's just so much better. Yeah, I guess that's going to conclude my video. I guess I don't need to talk about anything else. Appreciate you for watching. Thanks. I hope this helps somebody. Like, really, this is really, like, risk management is the most important concept in trading, right? Ed Secoda talks about it. You know, the only way you're going to have a chance in this game is if you cut your losses. You don't cut your losses, and again, you only have a chance, right? If you cut your losses, you have a chance. Okay, if you don't cut your losses, consider yourself done. You're not going to make it. The math just is against you. And so cutting your losses, sizing down when the market's not favorable, being able to identify the favorable and unfavorable markets, so important. Really the most important concept in trading. And, again, I saw a poker analogy the other day on Twitter, and it was like, I've seen countless people lose all their capital in poker trying to make a bunch, but I've never seen somebody ruin their career playing defensive. If you play defensive and just really be patient and wait for your time, you're never like going to be in a position where you're going to lose all of your capital and like the game's over. You can't lose all your capital. You just need to keep it. And so if you can just keep that and just be really patient and just wait, understand things take time. Corrections aren't fun. Choppy markets aren't fun. Like, yeah, you just have to sit through them and wait. But in a good period, it doesn't matter. Like, you get some of these good periods where you can just make 100, 200, 300, 400, 500% in a year. And it's like, well, holy shit, if I had just waited. How many people don't even get to that point, right? They're just so impatient. They want it all right now. They don't even get to the good markets. They've already blown up. They've already quit. They're out of the game. If you like, the game is to just wait and just get to it. Like, just be patient, stick with it, be consistent, and be defensive. And when the time is right, I don't care how defensive you are, if you get into a good market, you're going to be able to, like, crush it. Because at some point, it gets really easy. There's just so many setups. There's so many good setups. At some point, it gets really easy. At some point, you're going to make a ton of money. So, that's all I got.